Hi, Sportster Paul here with BobCAD CAM for SolidWorks. Today we're going to look at fixtures and fixture avoidance. Fixture's been in for a while. What tripped me up there is, you go identify in the CAM tree, there's a place that says fixtures. You right click and say define, pick them. And then when you go to simulate, I couldn't see them because I was in the part simulation where it just shows the part and the tool. Excuse me, you have to go to machine simulation where it shows that big old Tormach looking machine, and then it'll show you the fixtures. Then fixture avoidance was even trickier to figure out because it's 2020, it's pandemic in September. They've written about it a couple places and avoid fixtures. I couldn't find anything but one Facebook video, and I'll put that link down here. And they didn't really explain it. They just kind of whizzed right by, and you kind of had to squint and see. The fixture avoidance is only in advanced 3D toolpaths. There's 3 of them, planar and constant Z and roughing, I think. And it's kind of tricky to find it. I think the reason they're not bragging about it and bringing it up a lot, it's not quite done, right? I had some problems with it. I had some crashes, first crashes in BobCAD, as a matter of fact. It's been pretty stable. It may have to do with the configurations I set up. Well, we'll figure that out. I'm starting from scratch. If this one crashes, I got a backup one to switch to show you, how I managed to recover. I did have to start over again. No, I couldn't save the part. It would always crash when it went into the simulator. So that's a concern. All right, let's get up to SolidWorks. Here it is. And here's this flat plate. I use it in my Harley Sportster redesign. It's part of the transmission. The cow patty goes in here. I've called a file for our convenience, Fixture Undercut BobCAD Solid Assembly. And I'll pack and go this, and the website that's down in the link, that's where I'll have these files. Bear in mind, because this is a demo version of BobCAD, these saved files, if you open it in the paid for version, it will not show you the toolpaths. That's how they prevent letting people get free demos and doing all the work and then having one copy. A big company could have one copy of working BobCAD. I don't fault them for that. So here it is, clamps, model of bolts, because you'll see that actually is going to matter. Anything that's on the table that you can break a tool on. I learned a little about configurations. There's all the clamps. This configuration, none of the clamps. This configuration, I called it NS, north-south clamps, because this is the way I intend the part to be, with the fixed jaw of the vise in the back, movable jaw here. This I built the assembly so that it would the triad here would match my milling machine with positive X to the right. Let me show you. Positive Y to the back. So these clamps, notice also they're up high. They're on the stock because this is the starting. You're going to do clamps here. Then switch over to these clamps, which I call clamps east-west, EW. And those are down on the stock because, we've already done the first operations. So let's get into it here. Go into the CAM tree. Go new job. Milling. Not much to choose from here. I'm doing 5-6 different programs. Solid body. See, this is how you make sure you don't pick a clamp. What in this assembly. That's our body. Next, you got to do the stock, and I think it says stock wizard. It already guesses, hey, how about just the size? But I want to show, a lot of facing. It's not bounding box. It's not calculate. I guess this is what I had to do. Stock orientation. No, so I went 5.5. And I'm not saying you wouldn't fixture this part like this. You wouldn't use stock. This is just an example, right? Why isn't anything expanding in size? Oh, because I did something wrong. 5.5. Enter. There we go. 5, just hit 5. I love watching the videos, when I edit and see all the stupid stuff I've done. It's like, no wonder it didn't work right. And then this can go up, down. So it's thick, but, because they line up origins and all the other kind of common problems with companies with stock. And what I don't like is, well, no, I do like you can give an overall size because that's how you order stock. But then it gets a little clumsy here. Stock origin. You can't really pick it anywhere, so that's not important. Enter origin. No, it's further down. I'm sorry. It's down here in offsets. We're going to leave the origin in the middle. The alignment's right anyway, just a coincidence. I think up here, offset, I go up 1 and it's right, but here's what I want to look at. See, notice the bottom doesn't change. I've made the stock thicker by 1/10 of an inch, and I wish I understand. 5.5, 5.0. Let's go down. 4, 5. Well, we're going to leave it like that, just so it's a nice convenient size, because you don't order 0.4 plate, you order 0.5. I think we're okay here. It's given us a machine setup. I'm sorry you can't see this, but underneath it says rename. This is going to be clamps. And we're going to do N-S, capital S, north-south, enter. Can't double click on it. It's a little, oh my gosh, edit. Can we edit this? Hey, how about this? Aluminum. I didn't remember it working like this the first time. Not cast aluminum. We want 6061. Wrought aluminum. That'll be where it is. 6061 T6 heat treat. Okay, good. In case, because we're going to try adaptive toolpaths, I think. Clamps north-south. All right. Now, fixture. Right? Here's where it says fixture. While we're here, since it is crashing occasionally, they're just warning you, hey, when these toolpaths won't be apparent in a paid-for BobCAD. Only a demo BobCAD will show all this work. Sorry. Okay, fixture. This is where every setup has a fixture line item. And double-clicking doesn't work. They're always about right-click. Solid bodies, you just go bang, 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 bang. And now you've defined it. What tripped me up is when I went to simulate, I don't like simulating the whole machine and watching the part move around with the tool steady. I like the other way around. Hold the part fixed and move the tool. These fixtures won't show up in that view of the simulator. So no big deal. Now, we're going to do fixture avoidance, right? Because just what I just did now that's the whole subject for seeing fixtures in simulation. It'll tell you if it collides, but it won't do anything to avoid. It'll run your toolpaths right through. So I think you got to go back up here, say, the only place I found them is in 3D. Select geometry. Let's kind of do it like we were 2D machine. We want to do the face. So we'll select that face. Or no. Let's try for the gold here. Select the whole body, select the whole thing. Say okay. Then you can use this little next thing, go down. The rapid plane might bite us because I found it'll rapid through the fixture even though you've taught it to avoid the toolpaths. Strategy. Neither of these will work because they don't have the word advanced in them. You can erase them both. You got to either have, at least for my investigations, advanced rough, advanced planar, advanced Z level. So let's do advanced rough, push it over there. Then go down next. It changes over here to show, okay, we're doing advanced rough. Posting, I'm not going to worry about. Well, we will show you some headaches you're going to get into. Tool. I always have trouble with these tools. I don't want this tool. I want to import, add from tool library, a 1/4 inch end mill. Okay. And I don't want that. What do? You say okay here and then change it to 2 flutes. And this thing is so smart. If you go back to, how do I get into it? Let's move everything around. It creates the 2 flute one. Now sometimes it lets me delete this. Oh, so it'll let me delete that. Tool number 1, 2 flute, 1/4 inch end mill. And there's, I'm sure, a cleaner way to do all this. I'm actually taken to this stupid wizard with the next because it's just a little more methodical, right? Zig. So it's going to do only climb milling. Maybe a parameter. Okay, parameters. Here it is, right here where it says advanced. That's where you do fixture avoidance. Meanwhile, oh my gosh, I thought, where does it say adaptive roughing? Let's try that, because that's a cool thing, right? That's like eye machining in SolidCAM, where it's making these swoopy tool paths. So let's go for the gold here, adaptive. Okay, then go once again, 1 down. Thin cuts, that's what you'd expect. Cut the holes, sure, automatic. Oh, depth. Min-max from stock. What happens if you do this? Does it give you? Well, let's do that. Min-max from stock. Okay, now this is kind of goofy, right? This is why I don't think they quite finished this, why they're not bragging about it. You click advanced, you get this. It wants a part geometry here and it wants a fixture geometry. So you're doing the fixture over again for this programmer's idea of how fixture should be defined. You do add, you select whole bodies, the part is that same part. It bombs out of the dialog box, advanced again. Now you go down here to the fixture geometry, add, whole bodies, clicked here because we know we just want all of this and do the bolts, do everything. Doesn't hurt. Okay, so now we've got that. It bombs out again, and then you got to go, I've learned, if you actually want something other than the tool going right, because you're not going to get those fixtures exact. So I figure at least 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch, right? That's saying the allowance around those fixtures, and it's global, X, Y, and Z, will be 1/10 of an inch. The part, down here, I think it's going to override the feature geometry and say, no, we're going to make the part exact. Say, okay. And I think we are ready. I'll pull it to this side so I can hit this compute button, and we'll see what it does. It thinks, that's a good sign. It didn't bomb out right away or has some problems. And you'll see all the little wrinkles. I'm doing all the things I did wrong in practice because I think that helps people more than the demo that's been careful. See, it did it. Unfortunately, it didn't do the faces. Unfortunately, I really don't want it to hog all this middle. I'd rather just cut this center plate out. But it did the perimeter up to and avoided the clamps. So let's call that a win, but see, it hasn't faced. Let's see. Feature 3 axis. First, let's rename it. Well, let's just call it rough. Or better yet, 3D rough. Sorry if I'm a little spacey on this, but okay, now we edit it. There was something in patterns about, do the flats, I thought. User defined, maybe option, not leads. Machine flatlands. Minimum width, well, I don't care how thin they are. Make them 1/10. Okay, so we've done that. Go somewhere else, tool inside, center a tool. Come over here and let's see if we can get it to do these flatlands. I don't think it will. We'll see. I'm doing 5-6 different CAM programs, and I'm so twisted up for how one arranges stuff versus how the other. It's taken longer. That's a good sign, right? All of this is probably the module works 3D tool. Oh, it did it. Cool. So we're happy. So, of course, this is when I did it this way is when it would crash going into the simulator after I added the next tool pass. And it might just be because of my configurations. But this is very exciting. We should all be happy and praise. What are you going to do? We're trying to blank. That's way down here. I want to look at them. Then let's go file, save all, because it has been crashing. It's warning us. Yeah, we know. It only works in demo mode. Then do over here the simulator. Simulate. Please don't crash. If it crashes, I'm just going to switch to the part I already made using different operations. Okay, don't touch anything. It thinks the part's going to appear in a minute. No, there's a part, and now is when it would crash. There's some fixtures. It's flashing. That knows the mouse. I don't know if you can pick it up, but the mouse cursor's flashing, and it's still flashing, and still flashing. This scares me a lot. It's flashing a whole bunch. Let's go up here. Where is it? Take off toolpath visibility. Oh, it's going to have collisions. One of the things I forgot, this is going to hit those bolts. This is why you want to do the bolts. If I remember right, here is where you're going to see all the collisions show up. So let's go fairly slow, do a run, bam, instantly. I don't think that was the tool hitting the fixture. This was this holder hitting the bolt. And we'll prove that. Let's speed it up a little. Yeah, here's the collisions, right? So that's okay. Speed it up a lot. We ain't got time. So let's stop it, because I crashed SolidCAM once by quitting the simulator while it was running. Let me think. How do we fix this? We go edit, do something a little absurd. We make the overall length of this tool 5 inches, and we make the protrusion length 4 inches. Like I say, all this is absurd, but next, compute. And the toolpaths will be the same, actually. This is just for the benefit of the simulator. But let's go through with it just in case, because it might need to do all this mathematics for the simulation to show the 5-inch tool with the 4-inch protrusion coming out the collet. Okay, happy, file. I'm going to be saving a lot. Save all. Yeah, we know. And simulator. And you do notice the clamps do show up in this machine simulator. There's a machine. The cursor flashes a bit. Suddenly the part appears. There's the part. Cursor flashes some more. I think something else happens. Oh, the part changes color a little. I don't know if you can pick all of this up. And see, the cursor's still flashing. Boy, that scares me. Visibility, turn off the toolpaths. Run. Now, oops, one of the things I dislike a lot of things about this, which is the same. It's a ModuleWorks simulator. MasterCam uses it as well. And it just annoys, oh, something crashed. Table and tool. Okay, that's good to know. It's down, oh, I know what's wrong. The part is down flush on the table, but the stock is defined below. We told this thing to go all the way down to the stock extents. You want to fix that? Sure. Let's go close. And this was, this is one of the many things. Let's see, this is defined in the fixturing edit. Way down here is work offset. And see, there's no Z offset. So let's move this up a 1/2 inch. I think that's what fixes it. See, I'm leaving all the warts in. File, save all. Yes, we know. Do the simulation. I think we don't have to. I did learn in some programs, if you fast forward through the simulation and there's a collision, it doesn't tell you. It's thinking some more. There's the part. I don't feel confident about this. I think it's going to end up crashing. Let's take visibility, toolpath off. What do we got? 17 minutes in. Boy, we're not. And we should see now, see it's floating up above. So even with the thickness of the stock, it should be okay. See if we can avoid that. But it's wonderful, right? It's showing you the collision. It's doing this. I'd almost end up doing sketches rather than this to avoid the fixture, right? Just use 2D toolpaths like this part was intended to be made, other than perhaps doing these undercuts. That'll be a different show. You can speed it up a little more, look for that. Look, I guess we can just look right here and see if it twangs. Oh, and there's something that it might not be flagging that is truly a problem. That is an issue that came up. Well, we can see that when we look at the toolpaths. So it's doing its thing. I think it should break out because we told it the depth is the bottom of the stock. Maybe not. Doing its thing. Is it breaking out? I can't tell. It's moving. That's why I don't like it moving. It's kind of semi-transparent. Maybe because the stock is there. We're definitely got the part completely machined. If we deck the other side. No collisions here so far. But I'm pretty sure when I did it the first, okay, it's done. So that's a win, right? Let's look at something. Because this tripped me up. Okay? Turn these toolpaths back on. That's this blank unblank business. See? Let me see. Right here. This pink one, see it right there? It bombs right through the clamp. You'll break a tool. So that kind of concerns me. I think I slowed it down. Maybe I'm imagining things. Okay, it's okay on this side. I've played with so many settings. But see, I'm pretty sure this is telling us when it goes from this point and zooms over here and that was kind of goofy. 3D rough. No, not reselect. Edit it in, was it machine strat? Oh, well, that was it. That was it. The rapid plane. I think I made the rapid plane like 3 inches tall. Let's see if it lets us do this. Next. Okay. Then compute. We'll see if that all this pink stuff jumps up 3 inches over these bolts. Once again, I'm not saying this was a sensible way to make this part. I'm just showing some of the hiccups, because this isn't a salesman with a demo part that they spent more time on than the software so that everything looks good. See, now it picked up, yeah, and now you don't see that pink tool path. This guy right, this one right there. See, it ain't bombing through the clamp. A little worrisome, right? Didn't flag that there was a collision. Ooh, that's a mistake. Control Z. I should fix all this stuff, huh? Fix meaning fix it in space over here. I want to do that. Fix all configurations. Okay, so let's go back to BobCAD. No, see, this is one of the things. This is why I didn't like SolidWorks CAM by CamWorks. Always wants to recalculate. Well, aren't you smart enough to know nothing I did affected the toolpaths? I guess we're expected. That's artificial intelligence. Looks good. Okay, this one right here. What's going on there? Oh, see, it's way up in space. So a little kludgy, and I'm sure there's smarter ways. The BobCAD people are saying, well, that's not the right way to fix it. But it pretty much did what we had it to do. And I purposefully left this clamp stick out over the inner edge, and this clamp sticks a little over here. So let's go back and, oops, sorry. Turn this guy off. What are we gonna, blank unblank down here so we don't have to look at it. If you don't like looking at the stock, you can blank the stock out of this. Oh, it's not in its design. This is where it's going to be in the vise, right? X to the right, Y to the back. The little hole is right here. That's the way I remind. Clamp, north, south. Then, I probably just did this. I'm just so paranoid. Okay, I believe you got to go all the way up to milling job. Right click. And I'm sure with ribbons, but I don't like those ribbons. They take too much space up. Right click. There's a thing called add setup. Here it is. Add setup. And it's neat. Unlike a lot of programs, you know, it just, here, there's your new setup. So you got to go way at the bottom off your screen. I got a 1200 monitor. You can't see it. Rename. This is clamps east-west. Okay. Here in fixtures, oh, I'm wondering, well, I guess I should show you the design intent. So we're going to do clamps east-west, right? This, I think, is what caused it to crash. No, don't do anything. So now, say reselect. It wants fixtures easy, easy money. I think one day they're going to incorporate that sub-dialog in the advanced into this fixtures, and you know there won't be two places to worry about fixtures. So we remember, we got material up here left, we got material. Now, SolidCAM, which is more expensive, they'll actually do a rest machining. And they'll work in their 2D, they'll work everything. You don't got to tell it 3D. We're a little stuck. What are we going to do? Go up here, say, if we want to show it avoiding fixtures, it's got to be this. And because purposefully I made the clamps cover up, you know, pocket kind of areas and the face and all this other stuff on purpose to trip things up. Select geometry, whole body, the part. Okay. Then let's use our little wizard feature, rapid. Well, let's leave this rapid plane down where it was. We might get away with it. Next, machine strategy. Okay, we know we can't do anything that doesn't say the word advanced. Let's try advanced roughing again because we want to go do all this. Next. All this stuff is cool. Rough, it's got the one tool. Life is good. Patterns. We did adaptive once. Let's do adaptive again. That's a big deal. Next, parameters. Min-max from stock. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let's do min-max from machining surfaces, because I don't want to cut all the way through. Or no, actually we can, because this one's hogging out the whole middle. I'll show you the other part before we go. God, we're eating up a lot of time. Top of job, allowance. Okay, this is where we go advanced. Go here. Go add the part. Select solid bodies. Go here. Say yes. Hit it again. Select the geometry. Select solid bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Say OK. Hit advanced again. And, I was going to make this an inch, right? They've done most of this. I couldn't do rest machining. I couldn't get this thing to work right. But I think 0.2 is as much space as I could give it before it started complaining about clearance and just completely irrelevant things like, the software hasn't completely been finished. So we'll go next. Leads. I think this all worked out. Options, links, gouge check. Pull it off so you can see the toolpaths. Say the word compute. It does its thinking. Now it should avoid these. The question is, I'm sure it's going to do this, but it'll have a lot of wasted space. See? Now it avoided these fixtures, which means it got this area here and oh, we didn't do the flats. We're learning. Feature 3-axis. Rename 3D rest. Rough. I like spelling rest with the caps like that because it really stands for remaining stock. Something I learned watching all the videos trying to figure all these programs out. Where are we? We're editing. What was it? Patterns, climb flats, options, machine flatlands. Set this down to 1 like we had before. Say compute. It's thinking. Now it should climb on top. But see, it's redoing all kinds of stuff. With SolidCAM, it was smart enough just to rest machine. We'll try it. There's a checkbox for rest machining, but it gets real confused because it's in 2 different setups. It wants the previous tool to be bigger in diameter. It freaks out if you don't do that. So I had some issues. This is going better than I expect. Okay. Okay, we got the same problem here. We're bombing, fast through this. Before we jigger stuff up, File, Save All. This is when it crashed last time. No need to look at that toolpath. Blank, where is it? Blank, okay. File, Save All, okay. And then go Simulate. I'm not going to touch the cursor. You see it there, sitting there. I believe we left it in machine simulation, so here that comes. Gets the machine figured out. Now the part's going to come. It's thinking a long time, right? Because there's a lot to simulate, I guess. It's got all these. There's the part, and it moves stuff a little again. Then it puts other stuff. Then previous op. Ooh, looks like it didn't crash. How about that? How about that? And then, if I'm right, on one of my practices with another part, it actually changes the clamps as you would like it to. It's amazing. So what are we going to do? Leave it run fast. So there it is. Now those are clamps north and south, right? Just like they're supposed to be at the beginning when we're decking this and doing all this stuff. I don't want to go too fast, but I am curious if it's going to complain when it does the remachining, the next op. We should see the clamps change position, and we should see it do pretty much this again, except, over where the remaining machine material is. Oh, let's get the pause ready. So hopefully we can get full dramatic effect on this. All right. And doing this one. In that part that I tried, I said, well, rather than hog this whole center thing out, let's just cut a profile around the edge and leave tabs and let that middle thing take care of itself. Okay, so now it's doing the top. It's facing the stuff off. And come on, show us this. See, pause. It changed and shows the clamps where they were. Now, one concern, it shows the stock like it machined right to the clamp. And I thought I told it to stay 0.1 away. We'll have to go look at that, but this is a big deal, right? It was smart enough to show the clamps as you go. Here's that extra. This is the only extra we have here, right? It's done. The facing, it's hogged all this out. That's all gone. So let's keep going. See, but because it did a crash. I wonder if that's table and tool. Table and tool. Table and tool. But I thought I had this on fixture 1. Well, we're going to have to see. Let's stop it. Pause. Let's close it. And let's go. Oh, I would be setup. Edit. Way down here. Oh, I guess not. No wonder 0.5. Say OK. It's recalculating all its toolpaths. I think we can just do a save all. Okay. And get so turned around. Of course, I'm trying to narrate as I go, so let's see if this eliminated. And I'm not sure how fast you can go before this thing. Let's go really fast. Oops, I shouldn't have clicked before. It is encouraging. So this says that crash I had, every time it went into the simulator, when I added this second setup, that was something I did in a toolpath, but it polluted it. I erased stuff. It still crashed. Thinking, please don't crash. Thinking, hourglass. Okay. Oh, that's it. Okay. So whether it was the fixture or whatever, I'm going to pause everything and get SolidWorks back up and be back in a minute. All right. Okay. I couldn't leave well enough alone. I've got this alternate part. This is Fixture Undercut BobCAD Alt. And it did simulate for a while until I improved it and put a part 0 where it was supposed to be. And now it crashes the exact same way as the other part. But I did it a little different, and it did work for a bit longer before it crashed every time it entered simulation. And let me show you what I did. Here in the face, blank. I can't believe there's not a quick key. Blank on blank. So these are our north-south clamps. These are our east-west. I turned them all on just so you can see. It's avoiding here. It's avoiding here. I was getting stock collisions when it did work. That has something to do with not understanding the this facing. The facing actually comes down because it's a 3D operation, right? Advanced planar. Since it's 3D, it steps down here and does all of that. So let's blank this. I'll make this quick. Sorry. Unblank this. Then I said, well, let's use this advanced Z-level finish, and maybe I can do both of these. I could only get it to do one. I'd select all these faces, try to mess with the depths. Couldn't get it. Probably operator error, right? Let's not be too quick to blame BobCAD. So then once I had it skirting around the north-south clamps, I said, well, now let's do face REST, remaining stock, face, blank on blank. And this thing just twanged really bad. Oh, because I moved the... I moved the part 0. Hang on. Compute all toolpaths. I've forgotten to put the origin of the part 0 in the second setup up in this top corner. So this should fix it. Let's see if we can. There we go. So that's the, see now it's skirting these clamps, which weren't there at the beginning. And like I said, these clamps were up on the stock. These clamps are down right on the part. So I anticipated that in the assembly. We're going to have to do this again. Blank on blank and inner blank on blank. It's way off. So we go here and say compute all toolpaths. This one should be a little quicker. And there's that. And so now it's doing here. I tried to limit it. I tried to say, oh, give a 1-inch clearance around these. It always had some complaint. Clearance this, problem that. So I'm saying not quite ready for prime time. It kind of works for me. It would just be easier to draw sketches in SolidWorks around the clamps in this assembly and then use that for geometry to do facing and just normal 2D stuff. So at this point, It's a nice thought, but it's a little clumsy. I'll leave it up to you. So let's blank this out and explain what's what. Oh, I guess I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack and go this one, even though it crashes. And then in my website that I'll link to down there, I'll have a separate assembly file for the first one that crashed. If you put it in the same directory as the pack and go, it'll all work because all the clamps and that are underneath it. And then I'll have the original, which I called Fixture Undercut Part Solid Assembly. And that's one that doesn't have any BobCAD, anything. If you just want to play with your own CAD system with this goofy thing, go right ahead. All right, sorry I couldn't show you more. Sportster Paul here, BobCAD Fixtures and Fixture Avoidance. Catch you next time. Bye now.